want to begin this broadcast by showing you images that are coming out of Bangladesh, from Chittagong or Chittagong. What are the slogans that you hear on your television screens in just a moment from now is Dhoira Dhoira, Chatai Kar Chatai Kar. And this is the constant chant in Chittagong in Bangladesh. Dhoira Dhoira is catch them, Chatai Kar, watch, sort them out. Or as people in Bangladesh tell us, what they're saying is catch Hindus and slaughter Hindus in Bangladesh. Openly, on a megaphone in Bangladesh. This is what is happening. These are the radical Islamists chanting, catch them and slaughter them on the streets of Bangladesh. Imagine if you are a minority Hindu in Bangladesh and right outside your home, your office, your shop or your temple, you hear these radical Islamist mobs that chant, catch them and slaughter them. You see your houses, in your neighborhood ransacked and torched. You see your temples desecrated. This, unfortunately, is the ground reality of Chittagong or Chittagong. Imagine, Indians shed blood for the birth of Bangladesh. Regiments like the Rajputana Rifles Regiment, they attacked Pakistani soldiers. What was their war cry? Bol Raja Ramchandra ki Jai. With that war cry, Bangladesh and Bangladeshis were saved from Pakistan army that was raping women in Bangladesh, that was killing people in Bangladesh, and not in tens and hundreds and thousands, but in lakhs. 50 years later, Bangladeshis are chanting, catch them and slaughter them, to the Hindus of Bangladesh who fought shoulder to shoulder with them in their freedom struggle. I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Indrajit Kundu, who joins us with the latest on this very big and a very disturbing story that emerges from Bangladesh. Indrajit, you've accessed this video. Give us details. Where is this from? Who are these people? And what's the impact on the Hindu community in Bangladesh?
Well, Gaurav, the video is self-explanatory and it is shocking to say the least. I've been monitoring and covering Bangladesh for so many years, and this is clearly something which is really, really shocking because remember, Bangladesh is now being ruled by Muhammad Yunus, a Nobel laureate who won the Nobel Peace Prize. How is it that this is being allowed on his watch? Because the visuals speak for themselves. There are people out on the streets of Chittagong while these protests are taking place against ISKCON, and I can understand that the entire issue is before the court and there is chorus growing to ban ISKCON. That may have a different case and merits altogether. But to call for the genocide, to call for the killings or mass killings of members of ISKCON and the Hindu community is an impossible thing in any civilized society, and that is exactly what is happening. I mean, people do have the may have the freedom of expression, and may have freedom and the right and the freedom to express themselves and protest against any organization. But to come out and say Dhoira Dhoira Jabai Kar, which means that catch them and slaughter them, it's unacceptable in any civilized society where law exists, where law of the land exists, and that's where this is baffling. Because on one hand, we see today
yes,
all those students who are now advisors in the government, students against discrimination, their members
yes,
have raked up the rhetoric against ISKCON, saying that it's a terrorist organization. Now, the matter is before the Bangladesh
yes,
High Court.
You
today.
keep tracking that story, Indrajit. I will come to you for more, but you're absolutely right. This is truly disturbing. What's equally disturbing is the cheerleaders of this movement in India. Cheerleaders of a movement that were hailing this students' revolution in Bangladesh, when everyone knew that it's radical Islamists, including the Jamaat-e-Islami, that was orchestrating that entire so-called students' movement. They rode piggy bank on the students' movement, and imagine Vardis in India want a similar students' movement in India. Perhaps the result will exactly be the same in our country. But let me now take you to the other big story. The government in Bangladesh has called ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, a fundamentalist organization, in response to a writ petition in the High Court that sought a ban on this organization. This development comes amidst widespread protests across Bangladesh by the Hindu community that's seeking equal rights and justice for that Hindu monk Chinmay Krishna Das Brahmachari. We bring you more in this report.
Hindu community leaders under threat in Bangladesh. After the arrest of Hindu monk Chinmay Krishna Das in a sedition case, the Bangladesh government has now branded the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, or ISKCON, as a religious fundamentalist organization. The decision by the government comes in response to a writ petition filed in the High Court demanding a ban on ISKCON.
ISKCON নিয়ে আজকে একজন আইনজীবী দুইটা পত্রিকা নিয়ে আদালতের দৃষ্টিতে আনেন, সুও মোটো রুল ইস্যু করার জন্য প্রার্থনা করেন এবং তার প্রার্থনার মূল প্রতিপাদ্য বিষয় ছিল ইসকনকে যাতে নিষিদ্ধ করা হয়, এই ঘটনাটি তদন্ত করে দোষীদের আইনের আওতায় আনা এবং এমার্জেন্সি ডিক্লেয়ার করানোর জন্য আগামী অন্তত 2 সপ্তাহ সরকার গুরুত্ব সহকারে এই ঘটনাটিকে দেখছেন এবং এইটার যথাযথ আইনি পদক্ষেপ সরকার নেবেন।
The High Court has ordered the Attorney General to submit a detailed report on the situation, including the law and order in the country.
We strongly oppose this statement of जो लोग कह रहा है कि ISKCON को बैन करना है। क्यों? ISKCON ने क्या किया? ISKCON ना ही कोई संतरासी संगठन है, ISKCON एक शांतिपूर्ण जो सिखिज्म की जो मतादर्श है उसी देश सारी दुनिया में फैला रहा है।
कहा गया है अटॉर्नी जनरल की तरफ से, वो बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। हम सभी जानते हैं कि ISKCON एक सबसे बड़ी एक संस्था है विश्व में जो अपने स्पिरिचुअलिटी के लिए और जो हम लोग सेवा करते हैं उसके लिए प्रसिद्ध है। तो ऐसे संस्था के ऊपर में उंगली उठाना बिना किसी तथ्य के इलॉजिकल बात कहना यह बहुत ही दुखद है।
A wave of protest is spread across the nation after the arrest of Chinmay Krishna Das Brahmachari, who heads the Hindu group Sammilito Sanatan Jagaran Jot. The protests have focused not only on Das's arrest but also on the growing attacks on Hindu temples and the ISKCON by radical Islamic groups since August 5, when the Sheikh Hasina government fell. Chinmay Krishna Das was arrested earlier this week after allegedly disrespecting the national flag during a Hindu community rally. The Bangladeshi authorities have claimed that Das's arrest is not linked to his religious leadership but on charges of sedition. In Chittagong, violent clashes took place between Hindu protesters and security forces as demonstrators demanded the release of the monk who has been denied bail. The police have yet to disclose the formal charges against him. The unrest has drawn international concern, with India condemning the violence and urging Bangladesh to protect its Hindu minority.
पहले मंदिरों पर हमला हुआ, फिर अब ये हुआ है, तो इस हमारी सरकार को भी और इंटरनेशनल दूसरे लोगों को भी इस बात के लिए बहुत ठोस कदम उठाने चाहिए कि जो भी हिंदूज हैं वहाँ वो सेफ फील करें, और अगर वो सेफ फील नहीं फिर भी नहीं कर पाते हैं तो उनके लिए दूसरी व्यवस्था होनी चाहिए, या तो उनको यहाँ देश वापस लाया जाए।
My only concern is when something happens in Palestine, when something happens in any kind of any situation in Arab world, the entire one ecosystem very strongly will be in support of it. How come something happens to Hindus elsewhere in other than India? How come nobody responds within the Hindu community also?
In Kolkata, thousands of protesters took to the streets in solidarity with their Bangladeshi counterparts. The growing protest and international scrutiny signal a deepening crisis for Bangladesh, with the Hindu community demanding answers and justice as tensions show no sign of abating. Bureau Report, India Today.
The most disturbing images in the past 24 hours are from Chittagong, where these radical Islamists are chanting, "Catch them and slaughter them." The question we are asking here on India Today: can something be done to save Bangladeshi Hindus? Bangladesh depends on India from food to energy to cotton for their factories? Can India only plead for justice? Is it time for India to read the Riot Act to Bangladesh on protection of Hindus and all minorities? Joining me on this broadcast are Pradeep Chandra. He's a Hindu lawyer and minority rights activist. He joins us from Bangladesh for just a bit. We are also being joined by Radharaman Das, Vice President and spokesperson of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, and Professor Brahma Chilani is a respected strategic affairs analyst and a former advisor to India's National Security Council. But I want to quickly cut across to Dhaka and bring in Mr. Pradeep Chandra. Sir, what's the latest situation right now in Bangladesh? Are Hindus being threatened in any one pocket or across the country?
From yesterday to today, the present condition is very dire, and Hindus are living under insecurity in Chittagong division. And you maybe know the one lawyer from a state lawyer who was murdered by the unknown person. Maybe 6 people were arrested today. But the police or detective branch didn't expose the name of the murderer, and in the social media or Facebook anywhere, and the majority people are blaming the the lawyer by ISKCON members in our country, and the situation is very, very dangerous in our country now. Especially Hindu people are living with insecurity, uncertainty. In Chittagong, there have a lot of temples. In Chittagong city came under attack, and peoples also came under attack in Chittagong. Hindu people came under attack from yesterday to today. And maybe ISKCON devotee was arrested yesterday from maybe Hathazari in Chittagong, and today he was arrested by the police in Chittagong. And
the Hindus in Bangladesh, sir, the Hindus in Bangladesh, what is it that they are seeking? India's urged Bangladesh to protect Hindu minorities and all other minorities. What are your expectations from Government of India?
No, ISKCON is not a terrorist organization. ISKCON is not a terrorist organization. ISKCON didn't do nothing here, terrorist materials here, and terrorist activities here. The peoples are shouting their voice. The ISKCON banned, the ISKCON banned, the ISKCON, and I think and I hope the interim government will not ban this organization. And today also filed in our High Court, and the court will be decided it. And I think ISKCON will not be banned here.
Sir, you stay safe for joining us on India Today. Many thanks. I want to bring in Professor Brahma Chilani and Radharaman Das into this conversation. Radharaman Das ji, what are you hearing from Bangladesh? What's the situation? Is legal aid being provided to the ISKCON priest who's been arrested?
Actually, 2 days back when he was arrested and when he appeared in the court next day, he himself told that no food was given. As you know that ISKCON devotees, we are pure vegetarians, and there is we offer the food and we take. So since police didn't disclose where he was taken, so he couldn't take the food. So he was fasting. Only yesterday night, the police finally allowed ISKCON devotees to give him the food. So I hope that that arrangement is continuing. And the situation is very bad. For last 2 days, I haven't slept also. Yesterday whole night, I was getting messages from different devotees in Bangladesh. In many areas, this Islamists, they were going and chanting slogan like, catch ISKCON devotees and slaughter them, things like that. Also, many places Hindus were beaten, things like that, and many other reports is coming. And
Sir, stay with me for a moment, Professor Chilani. Professor Chilani, does India have any leverage over Bangladesh. India has urged Bangladesh to ensure Hindus and other minorities are not discriminated against. But now Bangladesh is planning to ban ISKCON on charges of terror.
Gaurav, India has considerable leverage over Bangladesh. Bangladesh depends on India for daily essentials, from basic groceries to petroleum products. Bangladesh cannot do without India. But how
Then why are
should
we
India...
being so soft?
Well, that is a key question. There are two reasons why India is hesitant. One, that the Yunus regime has the backing of the military and it has a de facto alliance with Islamists. In fact, Yunus's appeasement of jihadists, including releasing convicted terrorists from jails, lifting bans on violent Islamist groups, all that has emboldened the Islamists to go on a rampage and to attack minorities, to attack Sufi shrines, to attack Ahmadiyas. And the second reason why India is hesitant is that Yunus enjoys US protection. He's America's man in Dhaka. So India's choices are quite difficult because if India were to do something, then the Islamists would get more emboldened. They would then go after Hindus even more violently. And as you know, the Americans have been quiet. The Biden administration very much was involved in the regime change in Dhaka. It kept India in the dark. Its machinations resulted in the army chief playing a pivotal role in the regime change in Dhaka. And the Biden administration has kept mum on the human rights abuses under Yunus in Bangladesh, including the persecution of minorities.
Yes. I want to bring in Radharaman Dasji of ISKCON once again. Radharaman Dasji, why is ISKCON being accused of terror? What has ISKCON done? What are your counterparts in Bangladesh telling you about why are they being targeted?
That is the most shocking thing. And we are also perplexed that how can somebody blame ISKCON like this? ISKCON is famous for doing humanitarian work whenever there is a different crisis. In Bangladesh also there are many natural calamities, and ISKCON devotees, they are always there to serve people. They do not see the religion of the person whom they are serving, or nationality, or caste or creed. They are just busy serving everywhere. ISKCON till date, we have served more than 8 billion plates of free meals all over the world. So to blame such organization as a terrorist organization is the most ridiculous and shocking thing.
It indeed is. And Professor Chilani, look at the organizations that are ruling the streets in Bangladesh, from Hifazat-e-Islam to Nizam-e-Islam to Jamaat-e-Islami. Are they completely in control of the government? And if I come back to that point of Professor Muhammad Yunus that you've raised, he's a Nobel laureate. You rightly pointed out he's very close to the Democrats, to the Biden administration, to the Clintons, to the Obamas. But can this dispensation be allowed to get away with murder and worse?
First, on Muhammad Yunus getting the Nobel Peace Prize, we should remember that the Nobel Peace Prize is given for geopolitical reasons. In fact, while awarding the prize to Muhammad Yunus, the chairman of the Nobel Peace Committee said publicly that in giving the award to Yunus, they were seeking to narrow the divide between the West and Islam. So there were geopolitical reasons in giving the award to Yunus. He got that award jointly with Grameen Bank. And the chairman of the committee also said publicly that Bill Clinton lobbied for Muhammad Yunus. So that's the background to Yunus getting the Nobel Peace Prize. The fact is that Mohammed Yunus is basically the military's man. He's the fall guy for the military. The military is calling the shots, and they can blame Yunus and his advisors if things go wrong, and things are going rapidly downhill in Bangladesh to the extent that the BNP, the other major party in Bangladesh, apart from the Awami League, the BNP today asked, what kind of Bangladesh is this? Where people on the streets are being killed, blood is being spilled, freedom of expression is under attack, and newspaper offices are being burned and attacked. This is the BNP. The BNP has been a major backer of the Yunus regime. That BNP is today raising questions about the Yunus regime. And I think,
are they running with their hair and hunting with hounds? Can BNP be trusted given their past track record? And what about the Awami League now? Is Bangladesh, in your view, Professor Chilani, before I bring in Radha Raman Dasji once again, is Bangladesh, the situation going to continue to go from bad to worse? Or is there anything that can stem the tide and arrest the rot?
The BNP has a long-standing alliance with the Jamaat.
Yes.
And the Awami League leaders and activists have been systematically targeted, arrested, some have been lynched, some have been extrajudicially killed. There has been such a systematic attempt to finish the Awami League that Awami League today is not in a position to assert itself in Bangladesh, which leaves the field open for the BNP and the Islamists. They are the ones who are ruling the roost, and the military is quietly asserting its authority. And the military has had a long-standing nexus with the Islamists, just like in Pakistan.
Yes, absolutely.
So, in fact, there are many parallels between Pakistan and what's happening in Bangladesh. And in each case, and this is the irony of it, the US today, under Biden, is propping up the military-backed regimes in Pakistan and in Bangladesh, while seeking to overthrow a military regime in another neighbor of India, Myanmar, including supplying weapons to the rebels in Myanmar, with some of the weapons coming into India's Manipur state and destabilizing the ethnic situation in Manipur. So,
and that too is part of some deep state conspiracy, which is very, very worrisome. The trouble in India's northeast and especially in Manipur. But Radha Raman Dasji, what are your expectations? Now, ISKCON is spread across the world. Is there an attempt being made to create awareness across the world and have ISKCON members speak up to highlight what's happening in Bangladesh, and your expectations from the Narendra Modi government, sir?
All over the world, devotees are very concerned, and there is a discussion going on that they are very concerned what is happening in Bangladesh. They are concerned for the safety of the devotees and congregation in Bangladesh. We hope that yesterday, when the Ministry of External Affairs they issued a statement, we were very hopeful that Bangladeshi government will act, but their reply was very surprising. So we just appeal to our government, Indian government, to look into this, and attempt is being made to ban ISKCON is very, very sad decision, and government should do something about it.
What are India's options, Professor Chilani? We heard what US President-elect Donald Trump said. We know the Director of National Intelligence in the United States, Tulsi Gabbard, is a practicing Hindu and a Krishna devotee. But these are geopolitical concerns, and Trump said he would be battling the deep state. And if this is a deep state project, are the challenges only going to increase in the months to come?
The deep state is too powerful to be reined in. This is what Donald Trump discovered in his first term. In his first term, the deep state kept Trump at the receiving end with its machinations, including the Russia collusion hoax, and it'll be very difficult for Trump to fully rein in the deep state. So we should have no illusions that
Yes.
the coming to power of Donald Trump will fundamentally change American foreign policy. Having said that, one should appreciate the fact that Trump spoke up on Bangladesh in a very clear and forceful manner. Compare that with the wishy-washy statements that the MEA issued yesterday. It spoke about several documented cases of arson and looting against minorities in Bangladesh. Several only.
And not hundreds.
There have been hundreds of documented cases of looting and arson involving homes and businesses and shrines of minorities in Bangladesh.
We'll continue to raise this. We will continue to raise this on India Today.
Gaurav, if I could just make one point. Making statements is not enough, Gaurav. There are options that India has. Some options are overt, some options are not overt. India should exercise those options that it can exercise quietly. India should not be making merely statements. It should exercise its leverage in a meaningful manner quietly.
That very well said, sir. Radharaman Das ji and Professor Brahmachalani for joining me here on India Today. Many thanks. As Ramdhari Singh Dinkar in Shakti and Kshama also spoke of Maryada Purushottam Shri Ram. Sach पूछो तो शर में ही बसती है दीप्ति विनय की, संधि वचन संपूज्य उसी का जिसमें शक्ति विजय की. Only the brave are respected and their word honored.